Okay, so let's talk about my journey to building emotional intelligence. Managing my relationships with a dismissive avoidant attachment style. Family, welcome and welcome back to my channel, Dismissible Me, a monologue and a compass for navigating dismissive avoidant attachment. Please hit the like button, subscribe for my daily content Monday through Friday, and let me know where you're watching from. Drop your attachment style and any questions or future content ideas you would like to see me touch on in the comment section as well. Again, talking about building my emotional intelligence and managing my relationships because I wasn't managing them very well. And as I mentioned in the previous video, again, like, subscribe, check the playlist, trying to be organized over here. I tend to end a lot of relationships before they even get started. But first things first, understanding dismissive avoidant attachment. For those of you who may have clicked on this video and don't know very much about it, it is a relationship attachment style characterized by being emotionally detached, being physically and emotionally distant, reluctant to commit, be vulnerable, struggling with conflict resolution, just avoiding conflict, not being afraid, avoiding conflict. A lot of shutting down emotionally stems from primary caregivers dropping the ball, right? Being inconsistent or emotionally unavailable. My common challenges with managing my emotions comes from a difficulty identifying my emotions, understanding what I'm feeling. Sometimes I identify it as feeling angry and maybe I'm frustrated, maybe I'm actually sad. So we'll get to that at the end. But like, I do a lot more checking in with myself and making sure that I'm feeling what I'm feeling, making sure that I know how I'm feeling before I make a move. Another thing is just avoiding emotional vulnerability altogether. I would say limited emotional awareness, but I don't think it's a limited emotional awareness. Like, I don't get social cues that like somebody is needing something emotionally and I'm not giving it to them. Oh, I'm very aware. Sometimes I've just lacked empathy. As I was writing this to do this, I was coming to terms with the fact that there have been a lot of situations. I need to not be laughing. Where I thought it was tough love, honey, and it was just straight up being cold and just lacking empathy altogether. And so that's been highly problematic and affected me in many different ways and in many different relationships. But the limited emotional awareness, I'm aware. I just didn't feel like it was my problem, or like that was, or a minimizing it. I do a lot of minimizing problems. And then my own difficulty with if I get frustrated and angry, I'm just done out. That's it. That's all that I need, because it's too much drama, it's too much stress, and I'm a cool, calm, and collected person. And so I'm gonna need you to back up, give me 50 feet, because you're bringing the problems. Okay, I was cool before you got here. It's very much that. And so, and recognizing that these behaviors were really setting me back. And even when I was letting people know up front about certain boundaries of mine, which now I realize are a little bit unreasonable. Okay, some of them, not all. Some of them are extremely unreasonable. That I'm hitting these same roadblocks and I'm not getting anywhere. And as somebody who likes to grow and move forward, this was not helping me. So I'm a big self-reflector, writing things out, really looking back at the situation, and of course looking back at what they did wrong, of course, but really, what part am I playing so that the next time a joker wants to pull these same moves, I'm not playing the same games. That is so key. Because if you just point the fingers at other people, you're messing up. So, building my emotional intelligence, being aware of my emotions is very key, because I'm not just either angry or great. I have a slightly wider range of emotions, right? And when I understand what emotion I'm feeling, I can place the energy and the response in the right place and do the right things and not be embarrassing myself making a lot of emotional mistakes, emotional choices. But understanding what emotional intelligence is, the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and effectively express one's own emotions, as well as recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. And when I think of the word influencing others and their emotions, I don't mean making them feel a certain way, like gaslighting them. I mean, when you're needing something from me because you're struggling or you need help or you came from some advice, maybe I don't need to be a jerk and give you the tough love. Maybe I just need to sit there and actively listen and not say anything. Maybe I need to give you a high five. I'm not going to hug you because I've already spoken about how I don't do the touchy thing. But I could give you words of encouragement or affirmation instead of giving you the cold, hard facts, the cold, hard truth. But I have to think about that before I don't do it. My gut reaction is to keep it real with you. Just cut right to the white meat, right? Some people really cannot handle that. Now, how I feel about that is how I feel about that. And my mood changes on that daily, by the minute. But sometimes that is just not necessary. So that need to be just a little bit softer or just not say anything, as I'm a person of very few words anyway, is really come in handy. And sometimes it is a lot of, while avoidance and withdrawing can be seen as a negative thing, sometimes I really do need to just take that step back and not say anything, or look at it from a bird's eye view, remove myself from a situation, and then say whatever it is that I have to say. Having empathy for others, as I've already mentioned, I recognize that there have been times where I've lacked empathy. And that's because I didn't clock it as lacking empathy. I thought I was secure. I thought these people, in these specific moments that I'm thinking about in my mind, I'm like, this person just needs to toughen up. What are they crying about? Why are they need to make a move, right? How about they were really struggling and going through it, and maybe they don't have it like I do. Everybody's not a warrior. And in my mind, you should be like that. In my mind, you should be able to handle that. You should be able to navigate your way through that. And you don't need me to hold your hand and do it. Some people actually need you to hold their hand. And it's okay. It's okay for me to be like, I don't want to be a hand holder. I just need to be aware of that up front and share that, and then cut certain things off, and I'm not wasting people's time. But I recognize that in myself, and when people that I care about and that are close to me, I'll hold your hand. Of course I'll do those things. But that's the lacking empathy for others and not understand and truly not understanding that I was lacking empathy. It really blew my mind how the disconnect there with the lack of empathy for me and having the lack of empathy for others. Because sometimes I'm not very empathetic with myself. So I'm not giving somebody less empathy than what I give myself. Don't think that. Because in my mind, I'm putting myself in this person's shoes, and I'm like, I don't get it. What's going on? I Google 404. I can't relate. I don't understand. Their situation is different. Their mind doesn't work like this. So I've had to figure that out. It's been a slow process, but I'm getting here. I'm here. And then again, the managing my stress and emotions effectively. All of these things with the building, all of this comes from self-reflecting. I've had to self-reflect. I've had to try different things. I've had to force myself to do things that I don't want to do, don't like to do, in an effort to be more social. As I mentioned in the previous video, again, like and subscribe. Check the playlist because I try to be organized over here. Even in networking, so not even romantic relationships has this hindered me, but like in my work life, I've had to force myself to go to networking events, to go to social events because I live downtown where I live, so there's a bunch of things walking distance that I can go to. I've had to force myself to go, force myself when I go on walks. I'm walking for 4 miles. I can't say hi to anybody. Now I have to say hi to people. Like, really, I was torturing myself. Just to say hello was torturing me on the street. So now it's nothing for me to do that. Now it's nothing for me to walk in a room and network and start a conversation, but I absolutely abhor it. There is a little part of my soul that is lost every time I have to go to a networking event. There's no way around it. There is no way around that. And then the maintaining and fostering the good, healthy relationships. And I have that, especially with my friends. I find my friends to be secure. My friends are secure people. I think that's why we get along so well. And they give me the space and we don't have problems. It's because they're not crazy. It's just me. It's just me. Enhancing my emotional awareness. Obviously, I'm a check-in with myself kind of person. If I'm feeling frustrated or very upset, if that's very emotional, sad, like I'm getting ready to cry or getting ready to be emotional, angry, have an outburst, because again, I'm a very quiet person, I will remove myself from a situation, sit down with myself and figure out, how am I feeling? Am I really angry, furious beyond belief, or am I hurt? Because if it's hurt, what exactly am I hurt about? How do I want to fix it? How can I get this person to fix it with me? How can I address this issue? Obviously, this did not happen overnight. This has been a long process. The looking outside of myself and self-reflecting has been a long process. Now I'm at the point where I look at myself first. I could care less about what that person's doing. I can laugh at them later after I figure out what I'm doing and how I'm going to get better. Because most people don't do what I'm doing right now, and they stay in the same place and they continue to make these excuses and they don't do anything. And it's really sad, and I don't want to be one of those people. Developing the empathy skills, again, the practicing the active listening, the being in there, the empathetic communication. I'm so sorry to hear that. We're going to get through this. Not the damn, girl. Well, you got work tomorrow, so you got to figure something out. Good luck. Like, I have been so dry when people have just been needing somebody to lean on, and they leaned on me, and I was definitely the wrong person. A shaky, run down. Think of a bridge outside of a Disney villain's castle. That's what they were walking on when they asked me for some type of emotional stability. I absolutely let them fall. Sorry. I am really sorry about that, because once that hit me, I was like, dang, wow, I was totally missing them. I was missing the mark. I was thinking I was having some Oprah-like moments. And really, it was giving Cruella de Vil. Wow. Identifying my triggers and figuring out better coping strategies. Again, once I understand what certain triggers are for me, then it's easier for me to not allow those things to be triggers for me in the future. Because once I identify them, now I go, okay. Sometimes you have to understand that people are purposely trying to trigger you. And sometimes you have to understand that maybe you're just being hypersensitive. And when I say you, I am being hypersensitive, and I just need to move on. Where I have to give myself tough love too. You just need to move on, girl. It's you, it's not them. And then establishing the healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries, not unhealthy boundaries to keep people out. And that's been key in a long road as well. I've had to really come to terms with the importance of empathy, especially socially, in my friendships and in my personal romantic relationships, because as I mentioned, I didn't see it as not having empathy. I thought, other people lack empathy. There's serial killers out here. I'm out here missing the mark. Lord. And having good conflict resolution. Ending relationships isn't necessarily the best way to resolve a conflict. Sometimes it's good to have a conversation before the ending of a relationship. Maybe that could save it. Before I was a better communicator. But sometimes I've ended relationships, to be clear. I've ended some relationships without any communication because it doesn't require communication. Certain levels of disrespect or certain levels of crossing certain boundaries, I don't need to explain it. You understand, I understand. We're just going to have to go our separate ways. But I'm much better at conflict resolution in my personal relationships. I'm as good at resolving conflicts in my personal relationships as I am in my work relationships. Now, resolving conflict in my work, what I do, very simple, very easy for me. It's very easy for me to apologize and make things right. Boom, done. I don't have to think about it. I do have to do a lot more thinking with my personal relationships, but I put a lot more effort into having the conversations, trying to make things right, doing X, Y, and Z, right? Again, unless a major boundary has been crossed, and then regardless of your attachment style, you just got to cut certain people loose. Period. And that has been a big thing. So that's where I'm going to end it, family. Sorry. I was going to start something else, but then I really need to save that for another video. So really developing empathy, understanding what emotional intelligence was, understanding that I was truly lacking in this area, actually lacking, like it wasn't other people, it actually was me. Really has been a game changer for me as moving forward and doing things differently. Other avoidants, let me know how that resonates for you. Let me know what's similar in your life. Hit the like button, subscribe for my daily content. Check out my other videos. Let me know where you are watching from, what you would like to see me speak on next. And family, I will be tapping in with you very soon. Keep it real.